Good morning, students. Welcome for today's science session in 8th. How are you, Petines? I hope you all are fine, good, and safe at your home. Welcome for today's science chapter, that is chapter number 2, microorganism, friends and foe. We will discuss about this. You'll see in these figures, like these all are microbes. Yes, and the topic what we are going to study today is where do microorganisms live? Major group of microorganisms and their useful microorganisms. Yes, microorganisms are friends also. Yes, friend and foes also. So you can see this is part 1 of our video, and for today's session we are going to take these topics, that is introduction to the microorganisms, microbes in humans, harmful microorganisms, friendly microorganisms, food preservation, nitrogen fixation, nitrogen cycle. All these contain in this session. But today it's a part 1, so we will take only the friendly nature of them. So let's talk about this. What are microorganisms? Microorganisms are the very tiny microbes that can seen in the video, that they are very small. They cannot be seen with our naked eyes. So we need what? We need microscope to see them. Compound microscope is there to observe them very keenly and very closely. So that I'll give an example. Take pond water, drop of it, put it on a slide, then put it under this microscope. You will see many kind of these microbes that were shown in the pictures. Okay, so let me discuss about this, where these are microorganisms live. Where do these microorganisms live? Do you think you can see them, these microorganisms in this picture? Yeah. Yes, everywhere is microorganism. You can see it everywhere, even in the human gut also. To mouth to the bottom, everywhere is microorganism. Yes, all these are pathogens, and these pathogens are harmful, of course, also, and some are useful also. That only we are going to study over here, which one is harmful and which one is useful in this chapter. So let's go with this chapter, microorganism. It was categorized into 4 parts. Okay, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and algae. Let's take them one by one. First, I like to take the bacteria. Shapes of bacteria I like to take. Coccus, Coccibacillus, Vibrio, Bacillus. There are 4 type of shapes of the bacteria, and Spirillum also, and Spirulati. You can see this in the structure. Like coccus is of round ball like shape, and a Coccus bacillus is somewhat long in structure, and Vibrio is like comma we are putting it, and Bacillus is rod like shape, and Spirillum is up and down. Okay, so these are the different shapes, and crystal graph can be seen in this spirulina. So this is can be seen with this video. And next what we are going to discuss over there is bacteria. Bacteria are single cell organisms. They are unicellular. What are they? They are unicellular organisms. Like see, we all are multicellular organisms, but these bacteria are one parent only, and only one cell. Like we are having many cells in our body, but the bacteria has one cell only, and it has cytoplasm in it. Then it divide and get it into the partition and get 1 to 2, 2 to 4, and so and so. So it's a single cell, and may be found in colonies also. Okay, can be spherical, that I have shown you. That's a single, it's called coqui, and it's a rod shape, then bacilli, and spiral shape also, spirale. Okay, so Rhodobacter E. coli is a very good example that you can learn when you are learning the bacteria, then learn their names also. Okay, so do you know that there are about 100 million bacteria in each gram of soil? Yes, in each gram of soil, and about 500 million bacteria around in the dead cells or our scalp. Yes, 100 million bacteria are there. So bacteria occur in the intestine of human also. I just told you that in our full gut there are thousands of bacteria are there. And B complex vitamins which help in the digesting food. It's also contain bacteria. Yes, and animals like cows and buffaloes, for their digestion also bacteria is useful. And I'll show you even. Cellulase is a type of bacteria like this shape, which is present in the gut of the ruminants, where the digestion process take place very smoothly with this enzyme. Okay. So next we are going to take is fungi. Let's see the fungi. That's a bread mold, you can see. In the bread mold, in the mushrooms, you can see over there. It's a very good figure. It's shown over there. You can see when you bring the bread within 2-3 days, you will see that after them the green color fungi was appear over there. Right? That was the bread mold only. Okay. Let's discuss them in detail. Like, it is also unicellular, of course, and it contains the chlorophyll for preparing their for food. They don't have chlorophyll actually, because they are non-green, right? And if they are non-green, definitely they are not going to prepare the food, and they are unicellular, I told you. Then there are saprophytic or parasitic mode of nutrition they are following. Like, they are on surviving on the dead decay matter. That's why they are called saprophytic, and they're following the saprophytic mode of nutrition. So we are going through with the example of yeast and mushrooms and all. You can learn the examples, even we have done in the earlier chapters also. Yeast and mushroom, and you know that yeast is very much useful. We have done an activity before that also, that for even in the daily life also you are doing. Like, when we are taking the flour and we are putting a quantity of yeast in it, what will happen? The dough will become fluffy. Yes, why it's become fluffy? Because a lot of carbon dioxide is coming out of it due to the yeast, and it get in the fluffy nature. So that is, and again I'll tell you one more example is when fermentation take places, like when the preparation of alcohol method, what happen when we are taking a sugar cane and when we are putting a little drop of yeast in it, then after closing it, anaerobic respiration take places, and through these anaerobic respiration alcohol is prepared, and that method is called fermentation. So that can also be done with the form of use of the yeast also. So yeast is coming for many purposes, like we're preparing the pastries, breads, and of course these alcohol, wines, all these purposes the yeast is using. Okay. Mushroom, we all know, we have seen we are using it as a food also, and yeast look like this under the microscope. Like, it's a budding method is going over there from the mother cell. It's appear a bud appear over there from the bud, then it get separate from the mother cell, and then again it get developed, and then again it mother cell was developed, so and so process goes on, right? Okay. So next is protozoas. Protozoas, you can say Chlamydomonas, amoeba, and paramecium. You have seen these figures earlier also, so you can just take a reminder on it. On this behalf, they are following the mode of nutrition. They are following the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, and they are mainly aquatic. Yes, in the pond, water, they can be very easily seen. And if you take a drop of water and put it under the microscope, definitely you will see many protozoas over there, right? So amoeba, paramecium is a very good example of protozoa that you can remember. Go through it, the figures which can be seen under the microscope, like this amoeba. And let's take one more thing, that is algae. Yes, we all are aware with the algae. Where is algae? You have seen it's very commonly seen in the rainy season, when wherever the water was collected, a green like structure over there on a water surface, that is called algae only. And when you go trip to the Manali like areas, Mansuri like areas, on the trees there is a layer of lichens over there. Yeah, they are all are algae. Okay, so let's talk about more about this algae. Algae are found, or I can say appear in the colony forms, and they are filamentous. They are long like structures. They have the filaments, and they multiply like this. Whole filament will multiply in this, right? Not a single cell, whole Filament will multiply. They are mostly aquatic only. Sparogera and volvox is the example. I'll say this is the volvox and this is Sparogera, and they are multiplying. Full filament is being multiplied over here. Okay, let's discuss it further. You can see the structure of Spirogera. That's why they are in a very few and a less time they just cover all surface, because their multiplication was very fast, and under the microscope it looked like this. So I think you are quite aware with this now. Next is virus. Oh my god, virus. Virus are the villains of these bacteria, of these microbes. Yes, they are virus. Virus, that means they are living on the other fellow's body, like they are living in the host body. Yes, they cannot survive without the host. So such as many viruses are there, and viruses are always harmful, right? So they are the villains of their microbes, I can say. HIV, hepatitis B, influenza, bacteriophage, many viruses are there. Even cough and cold are the viruses. They are communicable disease and they can be spread very easily. They all are due to the virus. That is, nowadays coronavirus is spread a lot, and we have read this example very easily, and now you know very commonly what are these viruses. Okay. Let's take them in detail. Volvox. Volvox is a very effective virus. Small chicken pox is there. Influenza virus is there. So to take care of these viruses, many vaccines are also being developed, and we have to take in these vaccines to protect ourselves from these viruses. Okay, so they are, what a line I have written over here is, let me make you understand, line on the borderline of living and non-living. That means they can survive in the host body only. If they are out of the host body, they are dead. Fine, they can survive only in the host body. So influenza virus, chickenpox virus is a very good example of these viruses. You can see these pictures, like if you're going to see under the microbes, like these viruses, they look like this. Influenza virus look like this. You can see over there influenza virus, and one more form of influenza virus can be seen like this. Okay, so there are many commercial uses of also of these microorganisms. Microorganisms are used for the large scale production of alcohol, wine, and acetic acid. Yes, yeast is used for the commercial production, that already I have discussed with you, that to prepare the alcohols and wine. For this purpose, yeast is grown on the natural sugars present in grains like barley, wheat, rice, and crushed fruit juices, etc. And this process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is known as fermentation. It is not given in your books, but you must know the commercial use of microbes. If somebody is asking, then you can go the process of fermentation with you, and you can note down this content also. Okay, so next I like to take is microorganism, like uses of microorganisms. I like to discuss one by one. I will take them. Before that, I like to discuss the making of curd, how this curd is being prepared. Curd is prepared with a bacteria that is known as lactobacillus. You have heard this name earlier also. Lactobacillus is a bacteria which a very few drop of is, it's quite enough for a whole milk. Then it will convert within a few hours whole milk into curd. This bacteria multiply very fast and form the curd very easily. Okay, so making of bread mold also, yeast we are using. These all are the commercial uses, and uses that can I discuss one by one, and you can learn them very easily. For the baking industries we are using, for making the breads, pastries, and for making the wines, alcohol that we have done earlier. For these purposes, the yeast is being used. Okay, let's take the commercial purpose I told you done about this yeast, lactobacillus. Next was increases the fertility of the soil. How it increases the fertility of the soil? As you have heard that rhizobium bacteria increases the soil fertility. How it blocks the nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, into nitrate, into the soluble form in the soil. and that plant through the xylem vessels take that nitrates with the water along to every part of the plant. So who is helping? Nitrogen. Who is helping to take the nitrogen? Rhizobium bacteria. Azotobacter is also following the same path, which is converting the atmospheric nitrogen into soluble nitrates. That's also called nitrogen fixation. Okay, and which increases the soil fertility. Okay. So these bacteria even do one more thing, that they decomposes the things, that decay matter they are decomposes, and that increases the humus of the soil. That also you can add up in this. Okay, they increases the humus of the soil, and if the humus is there, definitely the fertility will increase and the plant will show a better growth with the fruit and flower. Fine. Okay, for the production of antibiotic like streptomycin, you have seen, you have heard that these type of medicines has to be given when the person was ill. Tetromycin, streptomycin, these are the antibiotics. Have you heard the word antibiotic? All these are medicines, beta, and they all are given when the person is suffering from heavy fever. And without the antibiotic, it's very hard to kill the microbes which are present, virus I can say, which are present in our body. So these antibiotics are inserted in our body through the vaccination process, so that they are ready to fight against that microbes which are coming inside our body. So for the vaccines are prepared, like polio vaccines are prepared, chickenpox vaccines are prepared, and vitamin B capsules and tablets we are taking, of course, for increasing our immunity system. The last was microorganisms help in the decomposition of dead organisms, that I already told you that they are helpful for decomposition of the organic matter and dead decay matter. The things which all are biodegradable can be decomposed with the help of microbes very easily after a particular time. So what we have discussed over here in this, in your book also, it is a chart work given over there. You can discuss over this and learn over it. It's very important. Like, go through it first. Immunization schedule. What is that we are talking about? That I talked to you, the vaccine which we are inserting in the human body to fight against the disease or microbes that are on the 0 month, like when the infant was born, means a child was born, that time it was called infant. Okay, at that time the vaccination was given to that child is smallpox vaccine, BCG vaccine. Okay, you all got it, I know. When 3 to 12 month DPT vaccines are put it, BCG vaccines are also giving to them. 9 to 15 months measles and smallpox vaccination was given, and 18 to 24 months DPT, like booster vaccines, what booster dose or 3 dose was given over there, that is called booster doses. Okay, and oral polio was started. We all know that the polio vaccines was given till the 10 of 8 5 8 till. Okay, so 5 to 6 year of age smallpox revaccination was given, and 5 to 6 years DT, that's for the protection against the diphtheria and tetanus. Booster is also given to the child. Okay, that you can go through it so that your knowledge will increases. Okay, that's all for this cleansing agent we have done already. I have discussed with you. One more thing I like to discuss over there is that microbes are helpful for the retting method also. Yes, what is retting method? Retting is the process of antimicrobial action on the pithecus in the plant, which blend the long fibers to the woody core material. That can be accomplished by many ways, like water retting, dew retting, enzyme retting, many methods. Here we are talking about enzyme retting only, right? Because we are talking about microbes, right? Exactly what retting is, I'll show you. Then it will be more clear to you. Okay. So retting we are seeing over here is retting of jute fibers. Like, see, you have seen these jute fibers are taken out by the labor, and what they are doing, they are beating it, putting it into long strands. Yes, putting into long strands and used for the making the fabrics. Yes, these fibers are taken out from it by after beating it and treating it with the microbes, and after that decomposition they get into soften, and after softening it they are converted into fabrics. Like, let me read the content. Retting is the process in which fibers get loosened due to the decomposition of hard cell. Yes, the hard cell was broken down by the action of bacteria, and the bundles are steeped in water at least 60 centimeter to 90 centimeter depth. Or after putting it in the water, little bit water, microbes will come over there. They decompose its hard shell and make it soft, and it help to make the fabric like this, right? For the nets, they can be prepared. Okay. Now, one more method is there with the help of microbes is done is called tanning. You must know it. Like, bacteria are useful in leathers and jute industries. We all know that. How these bacteria are using in the leather and jute industries for the process of tanning beta. Tanning is to convert the animal skin into leather. Yes, the animal skin are used like snakes, crocodile, and many more animals. I will not discuss that. So the animal skin will be used to make the leathers, and directly you know that the animal skin is used. But how? These microorganisms, these bacterias are helpful in that. They're playing a very good role, and that process is called tanning. You further study in the earlier classes, senior classes, how tanning process appear. Let me show a few figures like this process. The tanning process goes on. The microbes broke that the animal skin into the fabric, and then fabric was used for a better one to leather. You can see this, the better leather product was prepared through it. So that's all about the good microbes that were helpful us. Somewhat all the uses even we have done in this part, and in the next part definitely we are going to do the demerits also. Every merit has demerit also. So in these we are have done the uses. Read it, understand it, try to understand the concept. Till then, thank you, have a nice day, stay safe.